Hello there, welcome to Curl Up with Cathy Bramley, where I'm in my tree house, where I do my writing in the summer, and I'm going to be speaking to a different author every day. And today I'm delighted to welcome to my little programme Sue Moorcroft. Sue Moorcroft, who is a Sunday Times bestseller, and she joins me now from her office by the look.
Hi, Cathy.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Good, yeah. Good. Is that your office that we?
It is, yeah. I call it my study, but yeah, it's my shoebox room where the floor is my in tray. A lot of empty cups.
Yeah, I have to scoop up mine at the end of the day and sort of realise how many half cups I've got. Half cups of coffee is still lying around. But then now I'm trying to be all frugal with my milk, so we're not allowed to leave things anymore. We've got to be very sparing. So I'm trying to be a bit better.
Luckily, I don't drink milk, so it's just tea bag on hot water for me. If I leave it around, I go put it in the microwave and heat it up.
Yeah, well, I do heat my coffee up, I must admit, when it's gone cold. But so how are you? Are you writing at the moment?
I got a book in on Monday. That's the Christmas Wish that comes out in the autumn, ready for the winter, for Christmas. And I am catching up on everything. My to-do list, you can't see, but it's on a whiteboard, and I've crossed through about half of it.
Oh, well done.
So I'm writing articles and blog posts and doing graphics and learning a lot of software actually for things like this. Under the current situation, everybody's saying, can you do a virtual lit fest, because we can't do you any real live author events. So out of 4 events I'm doing in the next couple of days, that's 3 different kinds of software.
Yeah. We'll be so versatile, won't we, after all this?
We will. Or you'll probably have forgotten all about it.
The Christmas Wish that you just mentioned, that's for this Christmas, is it?
Yeah.
And is that a follow-on from anything, or is it a standalone, or?
It's kind of somewhere between the two, actually. A lot of my books, I call them linked. They're not exactly a series, but they take place, or part of it takes place, in the same village, Middledip in Cambridgeshire. So a bit like Midsummer Murders without the murders. It's all a lot happier. So my last winter book, Let It Snow, took place between Middledip and Switzerland. And this one's taking place between Middledip and Sweden. Because I have lovely author friends who say things to me like, oh, if you want to set a book in Switzerland or Sweden, you can come with me. Who have homes there or relatives. So Christina Courtney invited me to go and stay with her and her mum in Sweden. Her mum's Swedish. And I had a fantastic time. It snowed for us and everything. It was brilliant.
Oh, wow. Oh, that sounds lovely. We took the children to Swedish Lapland when they were little, and it was absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
And it's somewhere I'd quite like to go back to. So I've actually just sold some rights to 2 books for Sweden.
Oh, well done.
So I'm really excited about that. So I'll see my books translated into Swedish hopefully next year. So that's great. That's great when that happens, isn't it? I've got quite a few books which have been translated into.
I have, not Sweden. Only short stories in Sweden.
Well, there's time yet.
Oh, yeah. I haven't ruled
Maybe they'll like this one. Maybe they'll go for the Swedish one.
Yeah.
You never know. So that's a Christmas wish for this Christmas. But I've got a cover sitting down here. We'll show everybody. This is your summer book, isn't it? Summer on a Sunny Island. Tell us a little bit about this one.
Well, this is set in my beloved Malta. I call it that because I was brought up there for several years, being an army kid. And I go back whenever I can. I went back 4 times last year. And it's not looking so good for this year. But I'm glad I set this book there, really, because while I've been working on the edits and everything, I have felt a little bit like I'm in Malta. So the sort of spark was a food writer, middle-aged food writer character. Somebody told me an anecdote about a food writer, which actually I didn't use in the end. But that kind of sparked it off, that she would go to Malta and do something I would like to do, and that's rent somewhere for 6 months and write a Mediterranean cookbook. Well, I wouldn't be bothered about the Mediterranean cookbook, just to go there for 6 months is the thing. So that was kind of the starting point. So I made her daughter go, because I gave her a few catastrophes in England, and then I made her go to be her mum's PA and kitchen porter, because food writers do lots and lots of recipe trials. So she gets to clear up after Dory quite a lot, does Rosa. And the link I made was the army. With Dory, I've kind of sent myself up quite a lot, really. And I've made her an army kid who is a total bore about Malta and never wants to go anywhere else when she goes abroad. So Rosa is completely the opposite. She's been brought up in this North Yorkshire town and never really gone many other places. Her last relationship, her boyfriend didn't really care to travel unless he was hill walking or something. And so she does go to Malta, and she doesn't particularly care for it to begin with. But the link is the army, and the apartment that Dory has chosen is owned by the family of someone she was at school with. Same school I went to, a teeny barracks school. And so Zach, he's the army kid's son, and his grandmother is Maltese, and so he's helping sort of let out these properties and do them up and everything. And also he's away from the UK because he's completely fallen out with his dad, because he's a bit of a trouble magnate, and a bit of bother he got into with the law when he was 18 came back to haunt him, and he got in bother again. Somebody really wound him up to the extent that he biffed them on the nose, and the police were watching. It was all kind of a setup, but it meant he got community service, and his dad wasn't super keen on his son being on the roadside verges with a high-vis vest with community service on the back. So he and his dad aren't getting on well. So to go to Malta and do this work for his nana was Nana Juicy, was a sort of a get out for him. And so everybody really in the book is at a crossroads in their life. His various members of his family trying to get away from one another all come and stay with him. And the exception really is Dory, who, apart from having trouble with her editor, is falling in love for pretty much the first time, even in middle age. So she's kind of bucking the trend. And I thoroughly enjoyed writing it. Love it.
What is it about Malta that you love? Because it's somewhere that I've actually not been, but
Is it not?
No.
It's very different now from when I lived there. What it meant to me was 3 years of an idyll, really. Such a fantastic place to be brought up. Long hot summers, very long hot summers. Sorry, that's my phone made a noise. I'll put it on silent. Long hot summers, a lot of time spent at the Lido, where we snorkeled. You know, I passed my bronze survival medal before I was 6. I didn't know anyone who couldn't swim. We could all go underwater for a long way. I could dive from a high height, the 30-foot board I could dive off when I was 7. Wow. And we used to go to all kinds of places we weren't meant to go, get out from, it just was such a safe environment. And it was almost completely friendly. There was a little bit of tension between the services and the Maltese, because Malta had declared independence in that period. That's actually what my dad was posted there for. Was he was a surveyor, and he was giving back, not he personally, his department was giving back the infrastructure that the British Army or British had the responsibility for. That's what they were doing, the roads, the water and everything like that. So there wasn't, I mean, we'd just been kicked out. I was going to take it personally, actually, because we were kicked out of Cyprus first, which is how I ended up in Malta the first time. Then we came back to the UK for a couple of years. Dad was posted to Aldershot, and he changed regiments, or the regiments changed around him, and he went from Royal Army Service Corps to Royal Army Ordnance Corps. And then we went back to Malta, and just after we left the second time, the Brits were kicked out completely then. So but I'm sure it wasn't all down to me.
I'm sure it wasn't.
This is gin, by the way.
Yeah, well done.
Not really.
Yeah, okay. So this one's out. So Summer on a Sunny Island is out when?
30th of April. So very soon, 4 weeks today, I guess.
So ebook and paperback on the same day?
And audio, yeah, all three.
And audio, yeah. Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
And have you had a listen to the audio yet? Have you heard?
No, I haven't. I've had a conversation with the narrator because I offered, very rashly as it turned out, to pronounce some of the Maltese words for her as best I could. And I'd forgotten how tricky some of them were. There's a lot of silent letters, it seems to me, in Maltese, and she'd spell a word out to me, and I'd say, I don't know. You're supposed to tell me. I said, sorry. No, and I'd sort of make a noise, friend. Something like that. She said, "All right, thanks."
That's what Google translates for.
Yeah, but that doesn't give you a very good translation. I don't think.
You should be able to get the sound, though. You should be able to.
Yeah, but I don't think they're very reliable. Not what I've heard, anyway. Maltese is originally an Arabic language, so it's quite in your throat and
guttural
sounds we're not really used to, or I'm not.
No. So that one's coming out, and you've got Christmas just sorted. So what are your plans now for because presumably you would have had a writing retreat this summer?
I would have, and not cancelled because it's not till the 24th of July.
Right.
So as far as we know, we've just got to wait and see, but it is in Italy.
Yeah.
And have you ever been on a writing retreat?
Oh, hundreds of times.
Yeah. Did they work for you?
Oh, very much so. Yeah, very much so. I did loads last year. In fact, I shall really miss it this year.
Yes, same.
I went on one in January with Rachel Lucas, and then I had a few days just by myself locally in a little Airbnb to get some done one weekend. And then I went down to Retreats for You in Devon.
Oh, yeah. I think my niece has been there.
Yeah. So, that's all within, the first 3 months of the year. I'm sort of, had my wings clipped for the rest of the year now. But I get a lot of work done when I'm away.
Yeah, same. I can get about a quarter of a first draft done. So 25,000 words in a week. It would have been great to go again because the book I'll be working on this summer, which I'm going to start planning in a few days, is set in Italy.
Oh, right. Okay.
So I've had one summer in Italy, was set in the same area where I go on retreat to Umbria.
Right.
So I have had quite a lot of experience in that area. I think I've gone for 7 years now. And I've been to France on a retreat, and I take myself to Malta all on my own. And either way, I get a lot written or planned. And I really love being in the same country I'm writing about. But the week I had in Malta last year was fantastic. To go and sit and look at the same view that my character is was wonderful. Yeah, so
that's great.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah, we'll see.
We're all in the dark, aren't we?
Yeah. Have you got any tips for anybody if they wanted to start writing? So a lot of people obviously aren't working. You and I are probably carrying just as normal.
Carrying on,
yeah. But have you got any tips for people who are perhaps thinking they might like to start writing for the first time?
Oh, literally working for the first writing for the first time. Well, I would say educate yourself. So read some books or some websites or follow some authors who give tips, because there's a lot of information out there. And I think don't be closed off to various people. Like I call myself a composter. I'm halfway between a planner and a pantser. I have a big heap of stuff to dig into, but it's in no particular order. But then I know people who plan it like a military operation, chapter by chapter, and I know people who just write into the mist kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I think you need to make decisions on which you're going to try and do. But if you are going to try and write into the mist, I would at least have some big plot points in your head, like where you're heading.
Yeah, good point.
If it's a crime, what is the crime? If it's romantic, what are the conflicts? What's going to get them together? What's going to keep them apart? And things like that. Because Otherwise, I think you get past kind of 10,000 words and
Yeah,
out of
struggle.
yeah.
Good tips there. Thank you, Sue.
You're very
Thanks for
welcome.
joining me, and I'll see you again probably in Leicester, probably, because we go
Hope
to the
so.
same group in Leicester, don't we? From
Yeah,
time to
yeah.
time. So hopefully I'll see you again soon.
I hope
Okay,
so.
thanks for joining me,
Thanks,
Sue.
Cathy. Bye.
Bye. Bye. Sue Moorcroft there talking to me from her study. Hope you enjoyed that chat, and please do come back soon and watch my next Curl Up with Cathy Bramley. Thank you. Bye.